Hey friends, Iron Banner is back in town, this time for 2 weeks instead of one. It's effectively the same thing, but the state of PvP right now is a little questionable. I could go over the pros and cons of Iron Banner, but I'll save that for a different video. Today is about the loot. So let's look at Lord Saladin's inventory. Notice that on this left side, everything cost 1 engram, and then on the right side, it cost 3. So your time is best spent going for these weapons first, then these weapons second. In my opinion, you should have a list of all the weapons you want in order, and then ladder system it. Go for a 3 out of 5 on your top 3, then a 4 out of 5 on your top 3, then a 3 out of 5 on your top 5, then a 4 out of 5 on your top 5, and so on, if that makes sense. It's a much more effective way to leave the Iron Banner with something that you actually want instead of playing for 2 weeks straight and not getting even a 4 out of 5 on the weapon that you most desired. That is how RNG works. Sometimes you don't get what you want. But in order of what I think a PvP player should be going for, let's start with Kramil's Dagger. Yes, this is a PvP-centric video. I will mention where PvE is applicable, but I don't really think any of these weapons matter whatsoever. But maybe this is a good time to just jump into PvP, try some fun builds, and see if you like the current sandbox. Moving on, this is Kramil's Dagger. I think you should go for Precision Instrument because this is a meta call in the current sandbox. For example, if a Void Overshield Titan throws the barricade down, this will 3-tap that. So for that reason, this is worth it. Since it is a magazine of, I believe, 7 in-game, you need slideaways to compensate for that. 7 is somehow a benefit, though, when you consider that Prism has the Facet of Solitude. Check the video description below to see what I'm talking about. But Facet of Solitude will proc Stylus Executioner, which will equal Invis and Wall Hacks for simply getting your 3-tap at your max rate of fire, as long as the weapon has a small enough magazine. And in this case, Kramil's Dagger has a small enough magazine. Slideaways doesn't interrupt that. Another perk I would like is Strategist. I haven't tried enough Air Trigger to really recommend it, and Moving Target is also a no-brainer. If I were going for another perk that's not Precision Instrument, or Precision Instrument gets nerfed in the future, Zen Moment is pretty fun. Kill Clip you can build into with the right setup, the right amount of surges, perhaps Radiant, and the same could be said for Adagio if you're looking for 2-taps. Me personally, I will keep a Zen Moment, and I am looking for a Precision Instrument. Now for the rest of the perks, I think you go for a mix of all 3. Try to get that handling between 40 and 50-ish, and that stability around 50, knowing that you're going to proc Slideways to get it to around 70. I would say you always go Fluted, and then either a combination of Steady Rounds with a Range Masterwork, or Stability Masterwork with Accurized Rounds. Either one will be fine. Even a Handling Masterwork is more than enough. Moving on, the next weapon I recommend is the Multi-Mach Lightweight SMG. Since we can now enhance these weapons, Kinetic Tremors is now a threat. 1 less bullet or something like that to activate, and it does matter. I spent a stupid amount of time in private matches shooting opponent at a very different distance each time, and in my opinion, this is the magic number of stats where it is realistic that you're going to land enough shots to proc Kinetic Tremors at the farthest possible distance. And Rangefinder helps with that. I know it's weird because Rangefinder got nerfed, but trust me on this, you can do this yourself. Grab a Darcy, grab a lot of different rolls, shoot him at various distances, and you will see that Rangefinder is the move here. But if you don't believe me or you just don't want to farm for that, that's fine. Moving Target is very close to it. I think Dynamic Sway is a bit of a bait perk, considering what you have to do to activate it. Once again, you're going to be mad at me. You're going to type something mean in the comment section. Go in the private match, test DSR versus Rangefinder versus Moving Target, and you're going to see Rangefinder is superior by far. You also might think, oh, I don't need stability. I'll just go full bore and arrange Masterwork. If you do that, you're not going to be able to consistently land all the bullets to activate Kinetic Tremors, at that maximum distance. I'm telling you, I've shot hundreds of Guardians in the private match. This is it. You either go small bore steady range masterwork, or you go small bore Acarize stability masterwork. Then rangefinder is number one. Moving target is not far behind it. And if you get stuck with it, dynamic sway is fine. But let's not pretend like it's the ultimate perk or something like that. It's not. It's okay. Under over comes up too if the Warlock is sitting in a rift. This doesn't really apply to overshields whatsoever, but I happen to have a roll with both of these perks, so I'll show you what I swap from. So moving target kill clip is my daily driver, and whenever I play against a triple Warlock team, under over kinetic tremors comes out, because if they're just going to sit in a rift, I might as well just get some free TTK. Moving on, the next weapon that is new to this season is the Claws of the Wolf Pulse Rifle. Once again, you can activate the Facet of Solitude, the wall hack, because this is a rapid fire frame. On a prism, of course. I think you can't go wrong with Zen Moment in the right column, and either Snapshot Sights, Elemental Capacitor on Void, or Headseeker. Either of those are awesome. Perpetual Motion Enhanced also could come up. It's free stats for doing what you would normally do. I'm a very stationary player, so this perk doesn't really make sense for me. To the Pain, also very solid. And if you have a pure Void build, Gear Falcon, whatever, Repulsor Brace also comes up. You can stack something like Headseeker Kill Clip, that will be just fine. And maybe a double primary Disruption Break also makes sense. Me personally, I want Zen Moment in either Snapshot or Headseeker, and I believe you do have to have Arrowhead for it to be somewhat consistent within the time to kill. Then it trails off a little bit, but if you add a counterbalance mod on top of this, it's going to be very, very forgiving on the recoil. Remember, past Season 22, every weapon has a deterministic recoil pattern that is different. Do not trust this recoil direction stat. Sometimes a lower number is better. In the case of Claws of the Wolf, I believe 83 to 100, or rather 83 or 83 plus a counterbalance mod, is the correct decision for Claws of the Wolf. I'm going in order of importance here. The next weapon, and this might shock you here, is Gnora's Axe. And my reasoning is, Skulking Wolf comes up so often that I think it's a must-have for me compared to something like Inquisitor. I'll search Inquisitor here in a second. So I'm trying to min-max the handling and range, because you do have to compete with Chaperone and Heritage, but you also want enough handling to be able to, like, I don't know, shoot him with the hand cannon, swap to the slug. So any combination of range and handling that gets them both to as close to as 100 as possible is ideal. I recommend extended mag for jump shots, but if not, you just go ricochet rounds, and the gun's gonna look awesome. Let's search Inquisitor for just a sec. Inquisitor has a better stat package overall, aim assist, whatever. You can also go like Demolitionist to help with the cooldowns. Maybe you want a body shot with this. I see the vision here. I do see the vision. But I'm telling you, Skulking Wolf comes up a lot. The next one that I've been experimenting with is Nessa's Oblation. I use Paracausal Affinity because unlike Swashbuckler, I don't actually have to have the gun out. Swashbuckler, I do have to have the gun out, and that does make a difference. I still think Swash is worth mentioning because with Prism, you can activate Radiant, and that helps push out the distance even further for those body shots, and a lot of Destiny maps just aren't built for that. All that being said, you can see that I put an absurd amount of kills on Gnora's Axe, a special weapon for me, which is crazy. Remember, I'm a content creator. I shift between a lot of different guns, so if it gets over 1,000, that means either I made a very thorough review or I keep going back to it. Gnora's Axe is one where I just keep going back to it. The next weapon to mention is Pressurized Precision, another special weapon. I like this one because in checkmate metas it has Discord, but Discord's also just great in general for a fusion rifle. Maybe you go Vex Mytho class and swap to this with Discord. With the new special ammo system, you're spawning in with one bullet, so high impact reserves has even more value there. But you can't go wrong with rangefinder, Eye of the Storm. That's pretty much it. I think it's a very solid fusion rifle, maybe the second or third best, considering it's an adaptive frame, which is very, very good. It's also strand, can work with these strand interactions in the game. I would say just get a decent Discord. You don't even need high impact reserves, just Discord. And throw it in the vault, and whenever you feel like using a fusion rifle, take this out, and it will do more than enough. For both mouse and keyboard and controller players, occluded finality is great, but I recommend this especially to controller players. I mean, you can't really go wrong with this. Snap opening. If you want to get the range to 100, if you play MNK, that kind of makes sense for hip firing. Other than that, I go extended mag for a little bit of aerial effectiveness. And if you happen to play Arc, or I guess everyone on Prism Hunter uses that Arc super, but you can't easily get to 100 handling. So keep that in mind. Occluded finality, even despite the sniper nerfs, it will find the head. Doesn't matter if you get flinch, this thing has a mind of its own. Extreme bullet bending power. Another special weapon, the Wizen Rebuke. With offhand strike and high impact reserves, or a successful warm up, this can kill chain like crazy. I always recommend a mix of range and stability. Charge time masterwork if you can get it. You can go all in range, it'll still be fine, but I do appreciate the mix of range and stability. And again, Skulking Wolf comes up on these fusion rifles. I didn't mention that on pressurized precision, but you're charging it up as they hit you with bullets. You're going to go off the radar after the first kill. Next up is Reese Walker. And I know you see what I highlighted here and are thinking of clicking off the video, but think about it for a second. Number one, you're probably not going to use a lightweight shotgun to begin with. And number two, you got to compare it against every other lightweight shotgun in that slot. What does this do unique? The answer is, in checkmate scenarios, it helps you save ammo. It's a lightweight frame, so you pretty much pull it out just to run from point A to point B. And so all that being considered, I think I'm really only using this to cheat out special ammo systems with Discord. So that's what I'm using it for. If you want to use it as a traditional shotgun, you can of course always go for slide shot opening shot. Pumps out 98 range right there. Maybe you go surplus to try to get the 100 handling. There's a lot of variety here. I think it's a solid shotgun, but definitely not one of the best in the game. I would say Matador is my most consistent shotgun in the game, and this just is not that. The final major recommendation is Peace Bond, and once again, because Prism is on the rise, you can use Bakris with Prism, and then look at what Bakris does to the time to kill. 0.73. Then we're going to go ahead and throw on Bakris. Do our Bakris dodge. And there you go, 0.5. Very little effort. After a single kill, 0.5. Throw on the surges, 0.5. You can see the vision here. Use Bakris, dodge, freeze an opponent, get a melee kill, get a kill with the sniper rifle, activate Harmony. This weapon goes crazy. I'm surprised more players don't use it. Go Swash, go Harmony on this right column. Don't get baited by Headstone because there's a better weapon from the Cowboy Dungeon that features Headstone and a damage perk. This left column. Rangefinder might still be the best. I personally have Under Pressure on the one in my vault, but that's kind of contingent on it even getting to the bottom half of the magazine. You might already have gotten your kill. In hindsight, I think I like Tunnel Vision the best. If I kill chain enough. Maybe not with the Harmony roll, but maybe with the Swashbuckler roll for getting those singles. In sixes, Tunnel Vision might make sense. Killing Wind might make sense. In threes, Rangefinder or Perpetual Motion. And if you're indecisive, just keep your Under Pressure one like I did. Now I can start going through the weapons that I didn't mention so far. In no specific order because I think they're all kind of the same. Allied Demand kind of comes to mind as one that can break that mold, so let's start with that one. Really, any combination of perks, except maybe Subsistence and Auto-Loading Holster, is very, very good on this weapon. Almost any combination can be viable or niche in some way here. If I, for example, use the Cert Arachnid helmet with the grapple and I keep grappling to the grapple point over and over again, I can proc well rounded. Maybe I start stacking up multi-kills, try to go for that elusive 3-tap. That sounds like fun to me. Maybe I use Gemini Jester to proc Frenzy, and then I get aerosoled after a kill. Maybe they're sitting in a rift. Possibilities are endless. You be creative with this one. That's why I saved this one for last, because there's not a clear answer here. It's essentially Drang in the kinetic slot, but it's a lot harder to see your target than Drang just with the gun model, so I don't recommend it for that reason, although on paper, it is a very, very good sidearm. Okay, now let's go through order. Tusk of the Boar. PvE-ish weapon, but there are some PvP applications. Like, for example, if you wanted to, you could throw on the Disco helmet on Titan, the Skull Fort. You could shoot this at the floor, and then hit him with the Thunderclap, proc Swashbuckler, and then slide at your next opponent with enhanced damage. I've done it. It's a lot of fun. I've gotten hate mail doing it. Other than that, for PvE, a variety of good perks. Deconstruct was recently nerfed, so you don't have to tunnel vision on that perk. I think Slice might also be kind of cool in PvP if you want to make a tangle to therefore save on your grapples. That also makes sense. Lethal Abundance is next. Slice, Onslaught, or Collective. And assuming we can enhance this, Target Lock might also be kind of decent. Does that even change anything? Not significantly, so I can't recommend it. Collective Action naturally comes up with the Tangle play, but also if you use something like a Stasis Titan. Although Abyss Defiance is probably a better overall weapon. So you're pretty much stuck on just Slice, Onslaught. It's okay. When this was the only weapon in the game that could get Slice, it was a lot better. But now that we have a lot of other options, including better doubles, can't really recommend it. Guiding Sight. This gets Sliced too. It also gets to the pain. In general, I'm not going to recommend a scout rifle because the exotic scouts are significantly better to the point where I think it's worth giving up an alternative exotic. It is worth it. Jade Rabbit is that good. Polaris Lance is that good. Deadman's Tail is that good. So to use a legendary, whatever other exotic you're using has got to be crazy. You also have to compare this to box breathing 180 scouts, which I think are on par with the exotics. So high impact frame by itself, legendary, just isn't doing it. These base stats are terrible. All things considered, what does it do unique? There is Cascade Point. Maybe you run this with Trespasser or something like that. Rip a .48. Of course, you have to probably do that in close quarters. It's not going to happen. There's Transfiguration if you want to go the damage chaining setup. It is a strand weapon, so you get strand interactions. I still don't think it's worth it. You can pass on this one. Point of the Stag is next. This one was a 100 to 0 for me. Before the bow nerf, this combo right here could run a lobby. You could get some rolling 7th columns with this setup because after you get the punch, every bow is a 1-tap. Archer's Tempo makes your draw faster, which equals the double and triple kill faster, and so on. Not even with Golden Tricorn times 2 can you one hit. Not even with Golden Tricorn 2 and Radiant melee off a Prism can you one-tap? So for all those reasons, this bow is not dead. We just have better alternatives like Hush and the other raid bow, what's it called? Non-denouncement. I would still go Skulking Wolf on it because that's what's unique to the Iron Banner. I would still go Archer's Tempo or maybe Strategist on it, but probably Archer's Tempo. Then on this right column, I'm gonna have to say it's Eye of the Storm, weirdly enough, or maybe even Vorpal Weapon. If you get a perfect 576 bow, maybe even compact, keep it. It'll do you good. Even Swash is still okay, even Golden Tricorn is still okay. If you get the 576 and you don't have any other bow alternative, keep it. Forge's Pledge. We're going to do both the pulse rifles at the same time. Jorm's Claw, Forge's Pledge. They're essentially the same thing. They're both a solar pulse rifle adaptive frame that you pretty much have to run a Radiant build to get any value out of. Look at the time to kill. 0.93. Then you throw on Radiant. Now you're at 8.6. Start combining the kill perks with that, and it becomes a more forgiving 0.6. As you kill chain more, very unrealistic, you get to multi-kill clip times 3, but you see the vision. Same thing with Jorm's Claw. I'm super curious what that hits with Radiant. Let's throw a Surge on there too. Yeah, that's super unrealistic. Let's do Kill Clip. That's the easiest. Kill Clip Radiant, 0.53. 0.6. Without the Kill Clip, or without the Radiant. Since this is before Season 22, you want Arrowhead Break. Mix of range and stability. It does have Skulking Wolf, which is probably going to proc every single gunfight. Because when you're playing against higher resilience opponents, you're not getting that 0.6. You're getting a 0.93. Then once you get that first kill or you start proccing that Radiant, you start getting your 0.6. The reason I cannot recommend either of these two, or just pledge as them, is because Red Death Reformed exist. Better recoil, better anti-flinch, better ingredients, 0.67. You're not going to notice that 0.07 with this networking. And this is without Radiant. With Radiant, maybe with an Armor Surge, you're starting to match that TTK, and it's easier to achieve, and it's a better weapon overall. Adaptive frames suck. There is one exception from the Vanguard, I forget what that one is. Zavala, let's see here. True Vanguard is probably like angrily looking at this video right now. But I'm telling you, he was cooking with this one. This one is solid. Combo it with Bakris Rat King. This one goes crazy. This is the one exception I would make for this. The thing is though, with these 12 perk columns, you ain't getting this. I'm not getting this. If someone has this out there, you're probably slaying out with Rat King. This is fantastic. Because the thing is, you're not aiming for the truck. You're not aiming for the 0.6. You're not trying to get a 0.93. You're just shooting a burst, maybe 2 bursts, jiggling in cover, and flying out with the Rat King at an absurd distance to take advantage of Disruption Break. So for that reason, it's pretty decent. With Bakris, yeah, you're trying to hit the 2 burst, but if you don't hit it, you've accidentally proc Disruption Break, and that makes it easy to hit like a kinetic follow-up. Again, Rat King. Frontier's Cry is next. That's another Buildcraft weapon. I might as well pull up another D2 Foundry, because we immediately have to compare it to Trust. Although this is a Gambit weapon, so this probably doesn't exist to other players. I get it. Right off the rip, I would say Kill Clip or Adagio. Not Adagio. I just looked at the time to kill. That is pitiful. Go kill clip. Since this is a precision frame, you might as well try to get the craziest AE you can possibly get. So go all into that range stab combo. Try to go steady rounds for the AE. Now we have the AE on the helmet. This can probably get to 99, 100 AE and feel incredible on controller. Go rapid hit or tunnel vision even. No, definitely rapid hit on this one. Yeah, look at that stab climb up. This can farm in 6s. It can farm pretty decently, especially if you start throwing Radiant on. This is solid, but if you can't get over the gun model like I can't, I wouldn't use it either. Trust, I think this one gets way more fun because of Golden Tricorn. You also have Snapshot on it. So same kind of combo. I don't think it's enhanceable. It might be, though. I still don't think it's enhanceable. First tier of Golden Tricorn, 3-tap. We all knew that. Second tier, still a 3-tap. I throw Radiant on, and it suddenly becomes a 2-tap. So think of this vision real quick. You get your Golden Tricorn ×1, then you throw a throwing knife. Get the throwing knife kill, Golden Tricorn ×2 procs. Now you have a 2-tap at 0.33. That is way better than what Frontier's Cry can do. And you only had to play Gambit to get it. So yeah, it just doesn't exist. I will post some Gambit gameplay though. Might change your mind. Razor's Edge, pass. On all game modes, pass. Hero's Burden, this is a favorite weapon of mine, but not a competitive one. Think it's nice to distinguish that. Not every weapon I like is good. So for this one, I'd want something like this. Look at this pitiful time to go 0.8 for this amount of range. It's not worth. Kill clip brings it down to 0.6. That's pretty decent. It hits a little bit harder on the body shot than other SMGs. It has the void synergy with Gear Falcon and whatnot. I like the way the gun feels. I like the sight picture. It's just not a competitive gun. This is what I would recommend though. Extended barrel if you play PK Titan. Look at that handling exactly at 49, so you could go to 99 handling. Superb. Incredible. Roar of the Bear, just get generic rocket perks that'll work for PvP. Just because you're pretty much equipping this to get the Iron Banner reputation bonus, not because it's a good power weapon. Dark Decider, this one has been power crept. There was a niche thing you could do with Cert Arachnid and maybe a single Golden Tricorn, but now that we have a Kvasov in the game, this doesn't hold a candle. Do not use this. Bite of the Fox. Surprisingly, or I was going to say, you would think I would have recommended this considering how much I used it in the early seasons of Destiny 2. I also know that Steezel, shout out to Steezel, uses this as a shotgun with slick draw explosive payload, and that makes a lot of sense. Especially if you just go all into range and try to get this to 100. From the hip, this is going to feel awesome for just shooting at center of mass, and it is going to hit. So that niche roll sounds kind of awesome. Other than that, you can just go for a generic sniper rifle setup, and it's going to be fine. It'll do the job. I personally do not like the Chevron sight, and I probably should have mentioned that this is a good sniper earlier, but I just don't like that Chevron sight. You could just be like Steezel, though. Just don't even aim down sights. Swarm of the Raven, pass on both modes. And I believe that's every weapon in Iron Banner. So, 2 weeks to go. I'm not going to review the mode, but I am going to give some very, very, very generic tips here to not frustrate your team. First and biggest tip is, it sounds like you have to capture zones to win the game, but you don't. Capturing the zones naturally happens when you slay out. If you stand on a zone, you're going to get naded out, you're going to get smoked, you're going to get swarmed, you're going to get jolt chained, you're going to get frozen for standing on a zone. So to cap the zone, you have to push up past the zone and put the enemies in the spawn screen so that someone else in your team walks up to the zone and stands on it without fear of getting hit by abilities. That is what wins the game. When you spawn up and walk backwards with a pulse rifle or a scout rifle to preserve your KD or to stand on the home zone, that is contributing to a mercy. You are going to get mercied if someone isn't carrying that mistake. That's the biggest tip I can give in Iron Banner. Slay first, then zone. You can close a lot of matches out by getting that triple cap, using a super, and mercying the enemy team before they realize that they stood a chance. They just didn't try enough from the beginning. It's going to be brutal. If you're a higher skill player, you will get lobby balanced, and you pretty much have to play perfect, and sometimes that's still not enough. Value your mental. You don't have to play this. You can log off. You can play a different game. You do not need any of these weapons to compete in this game right now. Igneous Hammer and Conditional or Chaperone is enough. You do not need Criminal's Dagger. Next tip, I guess, is overall good builds might not be good enough for lobby balancing. You need good sixes build. You need abusive sixes builds. My favorite is Shadebinder and Top Tree Dawnblade with a Scout or something like that. Just to be able to get picks on off angles and keep the enemies stuck in the spawn screen. Depends on the map. So I'll switch between those two when I'm truly trying to win. But I'm not always trying to win. I will happily take a very frustrating loss from time to time if it means every now and then I get to hit a pretty cool clip opportunity or get some weird practice in. Anyway, you can see I put a lot of builds ready. Temporary Iron Banner 24, Season 24. A lot of different stuff to try for videos. And I have even more on the notepad, but I'll get to those later. And I'll make a proper, like, how to win Iron Banner against your better judgment video, complete with tips and whatnot. But I really want to drive that one tip home. Don't play your KD. Don't stand on the flag without trying to fight for the flag. Really trying to drill this in. I will see y'all in the next one. Good luck on your drops. 2 weeks of Iron Banner. I'll comment that in another video. See ya.